This one hasn't moved too much. Buffalo, Eastern Michigan, Ypsilanti. We've got Eastern Michigan 2.5-point home favorites, 53.5 the total in this game. I like Eastern Michigan as a dog, as a favorite, not so much. But here's the problem for Buffalo. The loss last week drops them to 4-2 in conference play. Actually, they won last week. They escaped with the win, I should say, last week.
Yeah, the OT thriller, didn't cover.
They did 51. I keep thinking they lost, but the Ball State covered. I did have Ball State, and my gosh, they did everything they could to throw that game away, and they did. They lost 51-48 in overtime. I had the over too, though, and that was about as easy as it gets. That's what I'm more interested in this game. I don't want to lay points with Eastern Michigan. They're just not a team when they're favored that I'm interested in. That being said, they do have a decent home record. Buffalo has kind of struggled on the road, 2-3 away from home. But CJ Ogbonna, their quarterback's been pretty solid. Snyder, he's been good at times, but man, last week it was interceptions, it was turnovers, it was fumbles, it was the whole gamut for him. He had a really tough game against Ohio in that 35-10 loss. I don't know what we're going to get from Buffalo, though, now going on the road. We'll see. And plus, I believe when it comes to Buffalo, that performance last week was a game that I believe for them clinched bowl eligibility. So they're coming off, clinching bowl eligibility with that comeback against Ball State, 6-4. Now you're going on the road. I don't trust the spot for Buffalo. I don't want to lay points with Eastern, but the over appeals to me because I think both teams are weak defensively at the moment. They've shown it. Buffalo's defense has regressed big time. What are they giving up? 48, 47, 30, and 48 in the last 4 games. 6 straight Buffalo games have gone over the total. The only thing I'm hesitant on is the weather forecast. They are calling for rain. They are calling for a little bit of wind. So I'm waiting to see, closer to kickoff. Like if I bet the over, it's going to be game day on Wednesday. I'm going to see what the forecast is on Wednesday night. If it's not that bad, I think we're going to see some points here. Connor, what do you think? Buffalo, Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's down. I think this would have been higher without the weather. I think this would have been 55, 56 for sure. Buffalo, one thing with them, they've been decent on the road, 2-3. When I look at these teams that I want to back, earlier in the year when I took them against Northern Illinois, that number was wrong. And we talk about these teams laying numbers, but man, it was 13. They ended up winning that game 23-20. But, basically that's what they got to do here. And then other times they haven't been able to get it done. So it's just, I don't know if they can. Like you talked about, they got the bowl locked up. And I think they play Kent State next week. They should get a win there for Buffalo. And Eastern Michigan, yeah, the short favorite here. One thing can Snyder be better? I just talked about in the last game. Just was horrible. He lost the game.
Another under the radar element to this handicap, Connor Mack, against his old team. He used to be with the Buffalo Bulls, Cole Snyder, now with Eastern Michigan. So he'll be amped up for this game. I don't know if it's going to matter though if he's going to turn the ball over like that.
Yeah. That is just the killer. And with this weather, I thought he's been, for the most part, pretty good all year. He's had somewhere he was just really bad last week. That just nailed him in. And Eastern Michigan kind of just wore down. They don't have the best defense, but they can throw it. So yeah, how bad is the weather going to be? Eastern Michigan, a few times they've been a small favorite and covered. One time they didn't. They were on the road though at Akron, laying 2.5. They didn't cover. So yeah, I don't really want them. I think they could win here at home, but it seems a little bit trappy. This is a wait for me.
Yeah, and by the way, when you look at the defensive numbers for Buffalo, they're bad both ways. They're bad against the run lately. They're bad against the pass. And the one thing about Eastern Michigan is they have they're pretty balanced. They haven't thrown it more than run it, so they could probably do both. And the one thing about Eastern Michigan's defense, they're worse against the run. And when you look at Buffalo, they have a very good Al J. Henderson, pretty good running back here for Buffalo. And he had over 100 rushing yards last week against Ball State. Probably be able to do damage because Eastern Michigan's not been great, not been holding up too well against the run. So this is definitely an over if the forecast is halfway decent for me.
It's Snyder. I just wanted to look back real quick because that's what was impressive. It's kind of like Wolf, which we talked about, and then he's had 2 bad games. Snyder up till then was great. He had Central Michigan a pick there, Toledo 2 TDs and 1 pick, but other than that, he was been great all year. And then last week, boom, just the killer. Yeah.